So just how good is this electric pressure washer on a scale from 1 to 10, where a 10 is, this is my new best friend. We're gonna get married at the end of this video and live a happy life together. A 1, I'm gonna just take a sledgehammer and break this thing into bits and put it into a garbage can. Now, I had all kinds of challenging things to clean up around this house that hasn't really been maintained in the last decade. The results with this unit were fairly surprising. I have a definitive rating that I'm going to share with you at the end of the video, and you can figure out if one of these electric pressure washers would be something that would be handy around your place. Now, the reason I picked this particular unit is it had over 1,000 reviews on Amazon, and for the most part, they were pretty positive. I'll put the link in the description if you want to check it out. It was super easy to put together out of the box. There's just some Phillips screws with a couple of the bits. Took about 5 minutes. It's a nice self-contained lightweight unit that you can easily kind of wrap up all the hose and the cord and the wand in this little holder. It comes with the little attachment there if you want to spray foam, which I did on my truck. I was actually surprised at how well this thing worked, and I was able to figure out how to put it on the wand. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out how to detach this piece. And once reading the manual a little closer, you just have to push it in, give it a little twist, and then you could put on the foam blaster. And yeah, the foam blaster worked really well. The thing that really drew me in and sealed the deal was the super high specs that this thing claims. This thing claims 4,000 PSI, 2.6 gallons per minute of output. That is very comparable, if not better, than some of the gas-powered units out there. Is that all a load of crap? Does it actually clean? Let's find out. So the first area that I needed to tackle was the back patio. It is 10 by 17, has not been touched in over a decade. You can see it is in fairly bad shape, dirt and stains everywhere. I did the first half with the fan and the wand. I used the 15 degree, which is the smallest one in the set. That's going to be your best bet for pretty much every pressure washer that you're ever going to use. And just started going back and forth and then kind of crisscrossing the pattern so that I don't end up with lines. Right away, I noticed that this thing is kind of underpowered compared to a gas unit. With a gas unit, you're going to want to have 2 hands on there just to make sure it doesn't kick back. With this thing here, you could easily pull it with one hand and control it. And for most of the time, I was using a little camera on my chest and just holding it with one hand very comfortably. So not as powerful as the gas unit, but you know what? It actually did a great job. I was very surprised to see it performing just like a gas unit. Is it going to be as fast? No, it's not going to be as fast. One thing that I noticed right away is it is considerably quieter than a gas unit. So it's not as powerful. I also like that little bit of a lack of power when it came to washing off some of the wood trims. You don't have to run the risk of just blasting the paint right off. That has definitely happened in the past. But yeah, I was impressed. It took 20 minutes to clean the first half of the patio, and then this is where things got a little interesting. I've always wanted to try out one of these surface cleaners, so I picked one of these up. This is just a very cheap one, 30 bucks. The thing that's nice here is just unclip the tip, put it back in the little holder, and this thing came out of the box with the right fitting, which is nice. Clip that thing on, and I started washing the second half of the patio, the surface cleaner. I didn't really know how to use it. I was just kind of going around back and forth in different patterns. I just ripped this thing around for about 7 minutes, put the fan tip back on, cleaned up the edges, sprayed everything off, and it did a great job. This thing worked really well. If you take a look at the finished results, you cannot tell the difference from one side to the other. If anything, this did a slightly more even job, and it only took half the amount of time. And then kind of the biggest challenge on this patio was this resin that was glued down right by where the step comes down. To get that off, I tried the fan tip, it was not working. What I ended up doing there was taking the old laser beam tip, which is just like a real straight, it's just a pin. It takes all the force and it just puts it into one little location. I took that and I was able to slowly work off all of the resin. You can see the resin peeled off nicely. and it's just, you can see the concrete stuck to the back of it. That stuff was on there, but I was impressed that I had the power to get that off. Now, I enjoyed using it for the patio, and then I had to move over to this horrendous looking stairwell. Now, this was a chore. I didn't necessarily use the surface cleaner over there just because I'm not sure how it would work on a step. I think you kind of need to have this thing on a flat surface. So I just used the 15-degree fan tip. That took a while. It was not fun being in that confined stairwell, just spray going everywhere. There's no real easy way to clean a stairwell with a pressure washer. It took about 2 hours over the course of 2 days. I kind of broke it up because with my injured foot, I was moving up and down the stairs. It was a struggle, but this thing worked. It did the job, cleaned everything up. I missed a couple spots that I had to go back, and there's still a few little touchy spots up on the wall that I missed, but it did an excellent job. So what would I give this on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's just put this out there. I've used this thing for a total of about 3 hours, so I don't know how long it's gonna last. What is the overall build quality? That is unknown. Do I like this thing? I do. I didn't have high expectations. I thought it would be woefully underpowered and kind of useless, but it really isn't. And the nice thing here is the portability. I've already packaged it up, thrown it in my truck, taken it to my other place. I cleaned off some Adirondack chairs. This is a really handy unit. Scale of 1 to 10, I would give this thing an 8. And even if I did have a need for a high-powered gas pressure washer, I still wouldn't mind having this around. The convenience and the usability is far superior to any gas pressure washer that I've ever used. And if you want to see one of my favorite things in the entire world, this little cup of shims right here with a razor fine points, I will show you how to make these very safely on a miter saw right over here. Something like it for the average home power. Sometimes I need to get angry and mad at myself before I start actually doing better. Yeah, try to get this part where it's not so lame. How long have I been recording this for? Feels like an eternity.